Hey, what's going on, guys? It's FPL Yusuf here, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be bringing you guys my Game Week 13 transfer plan video. In this video, we're going to discuss how we got on in Game Week 12. We're going to take a look at some of the transfer plans I'm looking to make. I'm going to show you guys what my watch list for the next few game weeks is looking like, and also a very brief team of what my squad is going to be looking like for Game Week 13 as well. So I do hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And as always, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today on my YouTube channel for another video. So let's take a look at how we got on in Game Week 12. I have left this video till Tuesday morning to record so we could get the Man United-Everton game out of the way, just in case we had anything from that game. Unfortunately, we didn't. So we finished overall on 47 points. We did get a very small green arrow to put us inside the top million. So we are up to 990,000, which I think for this current stage of the game, I think I'm actually quite happy with. Hopefully, fingers crossed, over the next few weeks, we can sort of propel up towards, that sort of 700, 600, 500k mark, and hopefully upwards and onwards from there. But let's take a quick little recap about how the team got on. So in goal, first up, we have Gigi Donnarumma. Man City obviously losing their clean sheet. He did get booked as well. So I thought he was actually on for a good haul. If they kept a clean sheet, he probably would have ended up getting bonus points because he made a few saves in the first half. But, obviously Newcastle did score 2 and he did get himself booked as well, which took him down to a 1-pointer. Then we come on to defence. Saliba, unfortunately, losing out on his clean sheet as well. Very unlucky there. 1 goal conceded, which was just a freak goal from Richarlison. So a little bit disappointing with that. Senesi, of course, not keeping his clean sheet as well. He did get subbed on for me. I did have him on the bench. But, obviously Semenyo didn't play. So those 3 points off the bench did come on for us. The other 3, however, did keep clean sheets. We had the double up of Crystal Palace in Richards and Munoz, who also got himself a goal. Massive haul from him with 14 points. Chris Richards obviously getting the 6 points for the clean sheet. And Chalobah, who's somebody who's been ticking over very nicely for us, also managed to get a 6 point as well. So overall with the defence, not too bad overall. A little bit unfortunate with, Saliba's clean sheet, but we'll take 3 clean sheets out of the back 5. So yeah, very happy with that. Then we come on to the midfield. Now this is where it has been a very, very big problem for me this season. The midfielders just haven't been performing the way I need them to. So we only had 2 actually physically playing this game. One was REIJNDERS, who obviously come off the bench, got a 1-pointer, unfortunately. And the other was Bruno Fernandes in yesterday's game, who again did nothing. He accumulated good XG overall and good XA, but again, just didn't amount to anything. But even though as frustrating as picky as he is, I'm going to hold on to him. I think that, over the next sort of week or so, we've got 3 game weeks. We've got a weekend, a midweek, and a weekend. And he's going to play 90 minutes in all of them. So we are going to stick firm with him. And onto the forward line, Mateta, our captaincy. We did go against Haaland this week. I felt so unfortunate because Haaland obviously did blank like we predicted. And Mateta got subbed off in the 59th minute against bottom place Wolves, didn't get anything from the game. I was so disappointed because it takes a lot to go against Erling Haaland, and we guessed right, and obviously Mateta didn't come through with us, so I'm not going to be putting the captaincy on him again. Danny Welbeck, one of our transfers in, obviously did have a great return, 8 points for him. Could have had a double actually, but unfortunately a little bit of lack of finishing there, but overall not too bad. Like I said, 47 points all out. Did get a green arrow this week. Let's take a look at what my transfers that I'm looking to make for this coming game week are going to be. Right, so as I said, midfield is a very, very big problem for me, and it has been all season. It's been the defense and obviously Haaland up front which have been getting the points. The midfield is something that I really need to look at because they're not taking over, whether it's you go for the cheap price midfielders. Obviously sometimes you get good little returns from the likes of Caicedo, Ismail Assar, a lot of people own. But for me, I just haven't had that real, other than Semenyo, who obviously over the last few weeks hasn't really been performing. I haven't really had a run of consistent midfielders getting me points. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this week we are going to sort of look to change that. So my first change, I think this one is going to be one that I'm booking in from now. I haven't actually made the transfer yet, but I think I'm 99% sure this one will be happening. And that is moving REIJNDERS out for Bruno Guimaraes. Now, Guimaraes is actually a little bit of a differential. He's only currently owned by 3.3% of the game, and probably not someone that everyone's looking at. But for me, when I watch Newcastle play and I look at his stats over the last sort of 6-7 weeks, they're actually very good. In the bigger games, he does get DEFCONs and he can also pop up with goals. But also in the I say little games, there's no real little games in the Premier League. But in the games which are maybe a little bit more favourable for Newcastle, he ends up getting, attacking returns. So I am looking to go outside the box here. Obviously, I think a lot of people will be looking at Eza. Everyone will be looking at Ismail Assar. Those type of players there. Enzo Fernandez is another one. But I want to go away from that and look for someone where people haven't actually gone yet. And, like I said, he's only 3.3% owned. So fingers crossed, hopefully he can come back with a nice little haul for us. So that is one of my transfers that I'm looking to make this week. Next up is Trevor Chalobah. Now, like I said, he's actually been performing quite well for us over the last few weeks. He has been getting his clean sheets here and there, but Chelsea's fixture run of the good ones at least have sort of come to slowly towards an end. Obviously, they play Arsenal this week. It's not something that I want to be playing him in. He definitely won't be starting even if I keep him. But the replacement I'm looking for is actually Matthias Nunes. Now, obviously, if I get rid of REIJNDERS, that will free up a third City spot for me. And I don't trust their midfielders, whether it's a Doku, a Foden. You're just never too sure who's going to play. Whereas Matthias Nunes, for me, when I look at their defence, I think him and O'Reilly are pretty much nailed, but obviously O'Reilly has competition from 8 Nori, so I'm looking more towards Matthias Nunes at right back. He's very good for DEFCON, and he does have the odd attacking threat as well. So for me, it's something that I'm considering. I don't know whether it's worth a -4 this week. Obviously, Man City are playing Leeds at home, which on paper is a fantastic fixture. So I may end up taking another minus, but because I took one last week, I don't really want to do that again. So yeah, that's just something that I'm looking at. Obviously, my main priority is moving to REIJNDERS out, but there is also a chance that I do look to move out Trevor Chalobah this week for Matthias Nunes as well. Okay, so then we come on to my watch list. So this is basically, I'm going to go through each position and we're going to try and go through the top 5 picks. It's not just for this week, it's over a course of the next sort of 3-4 game week. So in goal, I haven't really done the top 5 because goalkeepers, they're not really as valuable as obviously outfield players are, but also there's not really that many options to pick from. So I've gone for the obvious ones, your David Raya, your Donnarumma. They're playing for probably the 2 best teams in the league at the moment. So they eventually will keep clean sheets. A little bit of a differential if you're looking for maybe a little bit of a lower price goalkeeper, Dean Henderson, over the next sort of 3-4 weeks. Palace have got very good fixtures. And if you are looking for someone just to keep in there who's going to play every game, who will pick up the old clean sheets here and there, coupled with maybe some save points, I do like him at 5 million. So yeah, those are my goalkeeper picks. Then we come on to the defense now. There actually wasn't too many choices that when I was looking through that I actually really liked. So we'll start off with the man who's actually returned this week, and that is Daniel Munoz. So for me, Crystal Palace, like I said, over the next sort of 3-4 game weeks, have got great fixtures for clean sheets. But obviously, he's just so attacking and he plays so high and wide on that right-hand side. For me, it just makes sense to go for him. So yeah, he's in that #1 spot for me. He's a little bit more on the pricey side compared to some of the other Crystal Palace defenders, but I do like him. Then we follow that up with Jurrien Timber from Arsenal. Now he's slowly creeping up in price, but I still definitely think he's worth it. I don't really see Ben White coming in anytime soon to replace him. Obviously, there's always a chance because of Arsenal's strength in depth. There's also a chance that he could be rotated, but I think from what he offers you going forward, but also Arsenal with the defensive clean sheets, I think he's a valuable asset. Chris Richards in at #3, maybe a little bit more on the cheaper side of the Crystal Palace defense. Very good for DEFCON points. He seems to hit them most weeks, or at least he gets very close. So yeah, I do like him, obviously coupled up with Daniel Munoz. #4 is a little bit of a differential. Matthias Nunes, we spoke about him briefly in the previous section. Somebody that I myself am looking at. Obviously, Man City's fixtures over the next sort of 4-5 game weeks are looking very, very good. I am the only hesitation I've got around him is that obviously I have Donnarumma, so doubling up on a Man City defense is not the same as doubling up on like an Arsenal or Crystal Palace, for example. So yeah, it's just one to consider if you're looking for a differential. And last up on the defense is Joachim Andersen. Maybe not for this week, but I think over the next few weeks, if he's your 5th defender, your 4th defender, you can sort of chop and change him depending on fixtures. I really do like him. I think, we saw from the week just gone, obviously a 10-pointer for him. He does have these games in him where he'll keep a clean sheet, he'll get DEFCON, he'll get bonus. So yeah, I do like him as well. Then we come on to the midfielders, and like I said, this is the biggest area for me. So first up on this list, I've actually gone for Declan Rice. Now, I haven't got Semenyo in here because obviously he's still flagged, so we're not sure on him, which is why I haven't included him. If I had included him, then he probably would be #1. But the reason why I've gone for Declan Rice is because I think he offers so much for Arsenal. He obviously has the set piece delivery, and we know how good Arsenal are at that. But he offers goal threat, he offers assist threat, and he's actually a really, really decently priced asset. So for me, he's my #1 spot. Maybe a little bit surprising, but I do think that he can offer great value for his price. I've got Minter in at #2. This one is more of a sort of 2-3 week punt. Obviously, like I said, these lists are sort of over the next sort of 3-4 weeks anyway. But I think Brighton have got great fixtures coming up, and I think the form he's in at the moment, he just looks so threatening every time he's got the ball. And the problem with him in previous seasons gone past is that we've never been able to guarantee the minutes. But this season, he's playing 90 minutes every single game week. So for me, I think, again, at the same price point as we're talking about like Declan Rice, I think he's great value for money. Then we come on to a little bit more of a premium side, Bruno Fernandes. I think the reason why I like him so much is just his consistency of minutes. He's a 90-minute man. He's on penalties. Now, I know he's missed a couple this season, but when those sort of penalties go in, it's always going to be a 10, 11, 12-point haul. So for me, he's somebody who's going to keep ticking over. He will get returns. It's a little bit frustrating when obviously you own him because I think a lot of us just kind of expect him just to return more and more. And if he was playing further forward, which, when we get to AFCON and then Wemo goes away, that could potentially be a thing. But I think you're paying for the guaranteed minutes. And like I said, over the next sort of week or so, we have 3 game weeks in the space of 1 actual week. So I think players like that will become very, very important, which is why, even though he's a little bit more of a premium, I think he's definitely worth the money. On to my fellow Bruno, the one that I'm looking at bringing in this week, and that's Bruno Guimaraes. Again, it's the same thing. He's pretty. I wouldn't say he's guaranteed as minutes as Bruno Fernandes. I think, we are inclined to see the odd rotation from Eddie Howe, but I think in terms of the Newcastle midfield, I think he's probably the most secure. Like I said, he offers DEFCON in the big games. He offers goals and assists in maybe some of the smaller games. So he's a really, really good asset at a very good price, but also very low owned as well. Last up on this list is the most expensive one, is Bukayo Saka. He is obviously a premium player, and you will be spending a lot of money on him. But I just think over the next few weeks, once Arsenal get this Chelsea game out of the way, Arsenal then go back on a fairly decent run of fixtures. And I think with him, we do expect him to be on penalties. Every time Arsenal go forward, it looks like he's the one who's starting the attack. And I just think goals are going to come, assists are going to come. And I think he's a valuable option. The only reason I've got him at number 5 on this list is solely just for price. I think there's other options out there which can offer you similar routes to points as Bukayo Saka for a lot less cheaper. But like I said, if you are looking for a third Arsenal spot, or you are looking for a premium midfielder, I do like him. And then we come on to the forward line. Erling Haaland, of course, is going to be number 1. I won't really go into too much detail about him. I've got Danny Welbeck at number 2, just over Mateta. Now, both of these, it's worth me saying, are sort of a 3-4 week punt in my eyes. The reason why I've got Welbeck in is just because I think Mateta has got more chance of rotation than Danny Welbeck. Now, in previous seasons gone past, it's always been the other way around. You've had Evan Ferguson at Brighton. Welbeck's, fixtures have, at least his minutes have always been a little bit touch and go. Whereas this season, he's playing 90 minutes. He is their main man. Even when Jorginho Root is playing, he's playing behind him. So he hasn't really got that competition there. Whereas now that Eddie Nketiah is back fit, as we saw on the weekend, if Palace aren't scoring, Glasner has this thing of around the 65th minute, Mateta gets yanked off and Nketiah comes on. And for me, it's not an asset that I like owning. I don't like owning players like that, because as we saw from this week, it cost me in terms of captaincy. So yeah, I've just gone for Welbeck ahead because of security minutes, but I think Mateta is still a viable option, at least for the next 2 or 3 weeks, while Palace's fixtures are really nice. In at number 4, I've got Igor Thiago. He is obviously returning for Brentford. A lot of them are through penalties, it's worth saying, but I think he's probably someone that I'm looking at more game week 16 when AFCON comes around. A lot of players will be going away. Brentford's fixtures take a really nice turn as well for the good. So I'll probably wait for game week 16 or so for him. And last up is Nick Boltemada. I do think that he will come good, and I think he will get chances. Obviously, he had a great start to his Newcastle career. He's tailed off a little bit where the goals haven't been coming, but he is getting chances. He could have had, a goal, if not a brace against Man City, if it wasn't for Donnarumma. So yeah, for me, it's somebody that I really do like, and I think he's still good value for money. Okay, so this is what my early game week 13 team is looking like. Obviously, this will be subject to change, but right now, this is what I'm currently going with. I've got Donnarumma in goal against Leeds. Not really too much to say about that. He's, of course, going to be my set and forget goalkeeper. Double up of Crystal Palace in defence, Chris Richards and Daniel Munoz playing against Man United at home. It's not an ideal fixture. I do think Man United can cause problems, but I just think, when you've got Crystal Palace at home, you just back them and you just play them. So yeah, double up on them. Saliba, of course, is going away to Chelsea, which I think will be a difficult game on paper. I think it will be a difficult game in reality as well. But obviously, with how good Arsenal's defence are, you'd kind of always back them against anyone really. So yeah, for me, happy just to play him there. Nessie's also coming as well. Now this is all dependent on whether I take a -4 this week or not. Now, like I said, if I move Chalobah to Matthias Nunes, then I will bench Senesi and play Nunes at in the back 4. But that is all subject to whether I take a -4. If not, I'm more than happy just to keep Senesi in there and just let him play out this week. He's very good for DEFCON. Bournemouth can keep clean sheets on the odd occasions as well. So yeah, he's fine where he is. Then we come to the midfield. Obviously, Semenyo currently still is flagged. We're not too sure on the update on him, so I'm gonna have to stay tuned and just see what happens. That may alter how I line this team up, but for now he's going to be in there. Caicedo probably will not be starting this game. Obviously, if I make the move from REIJNDERS out to Bruno Guimaraes will be starting and Caicedo will be on the bench. But like I said, due to the Semenyo injury, there is a potential that Caicedo does start anyway. And of course, Bruno Fernandes, it's a little bit contradictory because I'm playing against my double Palace defense, but I'm just going to leave him in there. If he gets DEFCON and he gets, a clean sheet or whatever, it'll be like a nice 5-6 point haul from him anyway. So yeah, for me, he's just going to stay there. And the front three is exactly the same as it was last week. Danny Welbeck going away to Nottingham Forest. I think that this game could be quite an interesting one. I do think that Brighton could get chances in it. I know they just beat Liverpool 3-0, but I think Forest at home, I think there's a lot more pressure on them to perform as opposed to away. So yeah, I do like Danny Welbeck. Mateta's obviously playing against Man United at home, and of course Erling Haaland is at home to Leeds, and there is a very, very high chance, it's worth me saying, of me triple captaincy this week. I will update you guys later on in my final team selection video on Thursday. I think that video's coming, but there is a high chance that Erling Haaland will be on the triple captaincy for me this week. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I'll be back tomorrow with an FPL bus team selection, and then like I said, of course, on Thursday/Friday morning, I'll be back with a final team selection video where we cover everything, and I will also update you guys on whether I'm actually going to put the triple captaincy on Haaland or save it for a later game week. So stay tuned for all that. But as always, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.